Penumbuddies.
How are you guys?
Probably tearful after this episode. Nah.
Oh my god. First, right off the bat, gotta like slam, like drive a truck into the Luna is right button because at the
Thanks.
start of the series, start of this season, you said it's a lover. Also, Mev called that. And at the start of the season, you were like, Sasha is coming back and Dark Matter is coming back. So there.
This is all true. I did, in fact, predict this, which makes me happy.
Holy shit.
But holy crap, man, Juno's back. I missed him so much.
I was so upset. Oh my god, I heard his voice and I had to just
Just sit down,
Yeah, literally I was so relieved. Oh god, nothing like being in Juno Steele's head.
Yeah, especially now when it's like reasonably functional.
Yes. Oh my god, do you want to start by talking about him and his struggle balancing being a detective with being a good girlfriend or boyfriend?
Oh man. Sure. Yeah, we can start with that. I was thinking maybe at some point this episode we should like go through person by person.
That sounds like a great plan.
But yeah. Yeah, he's trying. Well, let's start with Peter then. Like he's trying so hard to balance his what he's, picking up on that something weird is happening and Peter's not telling him something.
Yeah.
Versus like I don't know, he keeps saying like is he allowed to? Is he allowed to hate the violin? Love that it's a violin. Oh my God.
Me too. It's
Is he
perfect.
allowed to be suspicious? Is that a bad sign?
Because those are hard questions.
They are.
Yeah, trust, as always, has been so overarching this entire season. And yeah, it really is coming to a head now.
Yeah. And the idea that you have to just choose to trust.
Yeah, that you can't force someone else to trust, that you can't put all of your trust in someone else. But we'll talk about Diamond later.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, I can imagine that that would be especially tricky for Juno, who has been so closed off for so long, probably partly because of that and many other things.
Yeah, that he's and I think we got evidence of that in this episode that he has chosen to trust all the people around him.
Yes.
And I don't know that he's ever been in a living situation before where he trusted everyone around him. That's got to be a really novel thing.
Wow. Scary and novel and wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has all these people in his life. I really like the idea of going through the episode a person at a time because it's funny to think of it that way, that it was like a tour through all the people who Juno can trust now. It's lovely.
Yeah. And I know I say this every Penumbuddies, but I did feel really good about this episode.
Yeah.
I felt classic Penumbra. But it had the emotional resonances I wanted. And it, kind of felt like all this fic we've been writing for 2 years now. That we were getting this like real found families what you make of it kind of, I don't know, vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I've got problems.
Yeah.
But I will save them for later. I like what this episode is trying to do, and coming back into, yeah, like classic Penumbra, absolutely. This episode really felt like coming home. It was really funny. I commented that in the Discord server, and then Joshua tweeted the same thing. I think it's a pretty just kind of wide experience to go into this episode and be like, ah, we're here. We're back.
Well, do you want to start with Peter?
Yeah.
All right. So I loved just the detail that Juno had spent the day in bed really matters to me.
Yes, absolutely.
That he's still having a hard time, that he's still like having to fight against these thoughts and feelings, that he's still depressed. He's still depressed.
God, 5,000%. I agree, 5,000%. That's a great point because they haven't had a lot of time to really show Juno getting better, and so they have to like make very careful use of the time they do have, and that was genius to
It
show
was.
that a year later he is still struggling, like because of course he would be. We'd all still be. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that doesn't make him a failure in recovery, and that it's not he's not a bad person for that, but that he can be redirected. And I love that Peter has now learned healthy ways to redirect him that aren't just like, let me distract you from let me whisk you away. Instead, they're like, let's do something distracting.
yes, it's God, yeah, a nice middle ground.
Yeah. And I think he's
Oh,
right that, well, I mean, there's the positive way to look at the scavenger hunt and the negative way. And the positive way is that he's trying to help Juno feel better and not think about his own wedding. And then the negative way is that he keeps Juno out of the way while he prepares for Betrayev.
yeah, I will never get over Betrayev. I think that's the
Betrayev.
funniest fucking thing.
It really, really is.
I hadn't thought of that. That is the perfect way to get him out of the way. I think it also triples as a perfect way to remind Juno that he has all these people to support him in his life, and that it's not
Yeah.
like if Peter leaves, like this is, I imagine, like could be an excuse. I don't think it's fair, but being like, oh look, you have these people, you won't be alone if I leave. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's fine. It's like
And I did see like a few tiny threads of codependency, like Juno saying that things felt like they didn't quite work when Peter left the room,
yeah, yeah.
And I do think it's good to have that kind of reminder that there are all these people in his corner, because having been in a very codependent relationship, like, that does not work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, come on, Juno, remember you've got options.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't come at the cost of Peter fucking off.
I
Um,
know.
do you want to talk about Peter having a hard time with weddings?
Oh, I am so excited to figure out what's going on with can't wait to figure out the tragic backstory of Peter losing a partner to sickness. Let's get it on.
Hey, yes, yes, yes. I really do think that is got to be what happened. That Peter got into a lot of medical debt and had a past partner that he tried to save and couldn't.
Yeah. That or maybe even that partner is still alive, but maybe they aren't. I don't know, there's something. Maybe they're even in a
Yeah,
coma or something. But
but
because
how
that
would
would,
Juno
yeah.
react to an ex?
I know. Oh my God. But like I wonder how would Peter react? Like I'm sure
Yeah,
Juno they both had their fair share of, or maybe Peter's only had one other person. Who the heck knows?
yeah. I mean, we really, really, really don't, because Peter, I think he tried the trauma sharing, the thing he does where he just like, here's all my trauma, now we trust each other, that he does in season 1. I think he's
Yeah.
kind of swinging back the other way season 3 and going too far, not sharing anything about himself.
Yeah. I I really I really hope he can figure that one out soon.
Yeah.
Oh God, I agree. That's really sad. I wonder how
Yeah.
much, or no, I'll save that for later. But oh man, I wonder what the prize was. Is the thing.
If it was a proposal, I'm going to be so angry.
I know it won't be a proposal. That's just it's too soon. Too soon.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad you agree, cuz like, if it's a fucking ring, I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah, I mean that would just be so weird. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like at the end of the like, what is the name of my lover? Here's a sad story. about, this relationship I had that didn't work out for whatever reason. Will you marry me? Like, it was just
Okay. Yeah. Yes. You're right. Okay. That makes me feel better. Thank you, Rab.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's not. If it happens, I will be shocked because it also goes against a lot of the messages that they've been, so
Yeah.
adamant about from the second season. So it would be very odd for them to. So I'm curious if not that, because that is my first reaction. Like, I mean, the whole episode is about weddings and
Yeah.
choosing to be together and choosing to trust each other. And so it's like, what could the surprise be? And it's not him leaving. That would be hilarious. So what could it be?
Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't even know.
It's some nice
For
poetry.
yes. Could it be? I don't know. I wonder if there's. I feel like Peter is plotting something and wants to keep Juno safe. So I wonder if there's some version of a prize that like keeps him safe, keeps him out of the way, somehow like I don't know. He wouldn't have said prize if it was a goodbye note.
Yeah, exactly, because that's just mean.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah, like, could it be that, I don't know, something related to him deciding to stay? Like, not a proposal, but just being like, I'm like a little a gift that says that Peter's going to stay somehow, like, and he's going
Yeah.
to, be on this adventure and he's going to trust Juno with whatever weird debt he's got into finally.
Mhm. I mean, I'm also kind of down for it to just be a silly prize.
Yeah, like a little like alien on a key ring kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
A box of chocolates. Like that's to me that's totally fine. Just because I think that the point was to get Juno distracted from his own brain.
Yeah. That
So
sounds lovely.
yeah. Yeah, right? That sounds really nice.
I mean, I'd like
Uh,
that. If I was going to have a
yeah.
really hard conversation with a partner, it would be nice if they were just like, "Okay, here's some snacks that we can eat while we talk about this," or like some nice, nail polish or whatever.
Yeah. Peter's just like trying so hard to communicate and know and know people while not being known himself. And I think that just runs through the whole episode that Peter
Yeah,
is
like,
trying so hard to know without being known.
oh, that is, oh, 5,000%. I agree. That is so true. It is so interesting to me that we don't know how much of this Peter like asked, because Buddy seems to know that Juno's going to ask her already. Rita obviously knows some of it, but
Hmm.
how much does Peter just know about these people? Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I
so
mean that's
sad.
these are all things that either he came up in conversation or he talked to people about or he asked people about or even overheard.
Yeah,
But
it's
the
so
amount that
sad.
the detail to which he would have to know people to people like him very much to
Yeah,
be able to get this information, like I think it shows a lot of how how many details Peter remembers.
it is. Yeah, there's his. Yes. Oh, that's so. I like my brain is like going back to, thinking about how he'll do things like memorize schematics and how he can, you know, be reliable in that way.
Yeah.
And that's falling apart for him, but god damn it, he can absolutely remember what kind of engine Jet used in his car. Like,
Oh my god. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, he's not doing good. And it's very clear he's not doing good. And I love the line in Vespa's section, hurt can sniff out hurt. Because it's really, really true. Jesus
oh
Christ.
yeah, we've talked about that on here before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to go ahead to Vespa section? We can come back to Peter.
Yeah, just really quick, I do want to say that I'm very curious about, like, when they first brought up a depressing instrument, it was like, okay, it's either a kazoo or it's a violin. And it's like, and I was like, I wonder if I should try to write something for that, because I don't know, instruments, I think art in general is just, it's very difficult to be a persona while creating art, it's just like it is channeling, I think, in a lot of ways. It's hard to make art that isn't you in some way. It betrays you.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's really interesting thinking of that violin as like maybe one of the few ways that Peter can be himself. I think someone might have brought this up already in our Discord server. Whoever you are, I love you, but I just think that's such an interesting and sad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And Juno kind of gets to it a little bit by saying like this is um oh my god, the line is escaping me. But like when he puts his whole heart into it,
Yeah.
that's when it sounds good.
Yeah. Like you can dislike something, but then like I hate like don't tell my friend Mel. I really don't like a lot of jazz music. But
Hmm.
he can play like his trombone and I will just love it because it's just like it's you can see how happy he is and how much he's putting himself into it. And so like not liking it would be me not liking him. So I
Hmm.
totally get that. Yeah. So lovely.
Yeah. Oh, I love the depressing instrument.
Me
This was the Vespa Juno friendship content we all needed.
Yes,
Holy
this
fuck.
is what we wanted.
Oh my god,
Yes.
this is the gay agenda. Like these two assholes are jerks to each other, but also kind of best friends.
It's so funny. I just I love that I'm not trying to start a fight. Like that's a sentiment I've
Yeah,
seen echoed in so many fanfics where they get to that point. It's so lovely seeing it in canon.
it really is. Where they can talk and they can have conversations and they have the same worries. They have the same worries about trust.
Yes.
And Vespa's even trying to like gently give relationship advice.
It's so sweet. God,
But
that
there is Martian shit in Juno's blood.
yeah, about that. What's do you know my theory? What's your thought?
Oh, my thought is that Juno still got some Martian stuff in him and therefore is the only one aboard who can get the Cure Mother Prime to do anything. And it could be very interesting when Dark Matters gets his hands on the Cure Mother. And we may see some kind of mirror of Miasma where Juno is trying to do something with his Martianness and it don't go well.
That would be awesome. I hadn't thought of because I'm in the exact same boat where I'm like, you have to have a blood transfusion with Juno Steel if you want the Cure Mother to work on you. And so
Oh shit.
if Dark Matters figured that out, then it would not be good for Juno.
Well, my thought was more like Juno can communicate or ask the Cure Mother. I don't know, can somehow has more control
Ooh.
over the Cure Mother, but Vespa was saying that it seemed like it was working on her own tissues.
Yes. So what was up with that?
So yeah,
Hmm.
who knows? Juno's got Martian gunk.
Yeah, but it is
Can you imagine
absolutely
what
yeah.
Vespa did? What Vespa did when Juno admitted that he swallowed a random capsule.
She would have just what a mess. Oh, that is so funny to picture. She
He would
just
have
would have
committed a
lost her.
murder.
You ate what?
Yes.
Oh my God. It's funny that
Oh.
they've still got Martian matter in him since you would assume that the bomb would have wiped out every shred of Martian DNA. So,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll see that addressed, but I think story mechanic wise, I'm willing to accept that when that happened, the eye exploded
yeah.
and that crap in his bloodstream. Does that make sense?
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. And like even if it wasn't like strictly possible within the rules they've set up for themselves, I wouldn't care because it is such an intriguing idea that
It is. It is. And I
yeah.
think it makes it a little clearer to me. Pure Mother's an alien.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think you've 5,000% got that. And Ruby. It's like
Ruby's an alien.
got
Alien.
like
Ruby's an alien.
Ruby's an alien, guys. So so yeah, we've got doctors. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for Vespa. Um, I loved that she, like, I guess we can talk about Buddy too, but I loved that for their vows, she was stepping out of her comfort zone like they both were. And
Yeah.
for Vespa, that meant talking about herself and like,
Yeah.
yeah, and her past. It was just really, I loved, that was what made me cry actually, was listening to Vespa's story. I started crying when she started talking about the prison break. I was just lost.
Fun fact, Sophie drafted that.
Like, wrote
So,
that?
yeah, Sophie wrote Vespa's vows,
Really?
which is why it sounds a little different.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love that it sounds different. I mean, it's just because it's coming from a different place. I just,
It
God.
is. It is. I like the
Oh,
point about her talking to herself.
yeah.
Um, oh, another thing in the Vespa visit, the Vespa section, is that uh, the whole idea of like roles and being yourself in a relationship.
Yeah.
That the whole like people come up with ways they think you are, and if you don't fit them, then that's a problem. But finding people who don't make you feel like you have to act.
Yeah. Or,
I thought that.
yeah, and I really liked how it was phrased too. That was like they've expanded the role to include like both of those.
Mm,
It made me feel really good because I, you know me, I struggle so much to be authentic a lot of the time. And it's just nice to be like, oh, they would accept that you can't always be authentic and that would be
yeah,
part of that. And I'm like, oh, that's really lovely. That's really nice.
I think that was a big part of the buddy episode. Like sometimes the facade is important, and it's not
Yes.
wrong to not be your absolute most authentic self at all times. But
Yeah. Like
you have a
honestly,
bad day, like you got to have somebody there who can deal with that.
yes. Absolutely. That's so good. So, oh, the writing in the show really just inspires me to no end. It really does.
Right? Oh my God. I'm like, all right, therapy topic for this week.
Yeah. How do we? It's perfect. It's like for one, I can take half of the points and I can put them into my book, and then the other half I can bring to therapy. It's the perfect
Hey,
package.
Rab has a book. Rab is working on
Oh,
a book.
well, yeah, you already pointed it out. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring it up. I just it's on my mind because it's got like a lot of stuff about emotional repression in it and rabbits. So it's just
I'm so excited to read it. Like, holy
oh,
crap. Can't
thank you.
wait.
And Luna has a new fic out too, so you guys should all read that one and get really emotional. I'm about
It's
halfway
very
through.
sad.
It is very sad. I'm halfway through and I'm already like, ah.
Very sad. So everyone, be careful. Also, that is infinitesimally less important than Rab having a book that is
No,
coming out.
it's not. Shut up.
Ah, can't make me. All right,
No.
Rita time? Rita time? Is it
Yes,
Rita
Rita
time? I love
time.
Rita.
We all, how could anybody not love Rita? She's perfect.
She really is. And she was so genuine when she was saying like, if they had to be separated, then it would be okay.
And it wouldn't,
And it wouldn't
and,
be.
and it's just that quote about like he wouldn't be that good of a deal if it meant, losing you. Oh my God.
Ah, yes.
Oh my God.
And a little bit of like backstory about what Rita has done for Juno in the past.
Yes.
Oh,
Stream nights confirmed. Love
nights
it.
confirmed. Reluctant stream nights in the office when Juno feels really bad.
That is so funny. And I mean by funny, I mean relatable. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
great. Oh, I
But
love
this Juno
that.
talking about his feelings.
Yes, Juno talking about his feelings, and I adore that Juno, like we already knew that this was Juno's favorite film, but the fact that he does the same thing that I fucking do, where like every time you get to a point, like you just have to say, like the fact that Juno says, well, he saw the real good cop is just like,
Buddy, no.
it's so
Uh,
funny. I love it.
I love that the legend of Good Cop is lit. Like, Good Cop is a legend.
The voice of good cop. Like
No.
genius, absolutely genius.
It really was. It
But I mean,
really was.
it's so good as like in the context of the show itself that Juno was donning that costume of the legendary good cop, and good cop doesn't exist.
Yeah, because there's no
A
such thing as
cab,
Good Cop.
yeah. Good times.
I also thought it was really interesting the monologue about you decided to believe in a fairy tale from Good Cop when Good Cop is betraying or whatever.
Yeah, that stinks of oh
Seems
no.
a little on the nose.
Oh no. But it's not a that's the thing is what the reason why I think it'll be okay is because it's not a fairy tale. Like Juno spends this entire episode dealing with the reality of the situation and how messy it is and unclean and not storybook like, which is so unlike him from seasons 1 and 2 where everything had to conform to storybook logic. So it's like he's finally not believing in the fairy tale aspect. And so I think it'll turn out okay.
Well, let's wait till the buddy section because I have feelings, thoughts, and feelings about the story box.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Ah!
What else about Rita? Anything else about Rita?
Just that she will definitely be in season 4. Oh, we that Rita cannot hack the book that Peter gives, which makes me think that this book has a much bigger purpose.
Ooh. Wonder what they could use that for.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but it seems like they wouldn't have bothered to make it so secure unless it was going to be important later. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely has more in it. I don't know. I don't know. That it's a secure object is important now that Dark Matters has them.
Ooh, there's that and even that throwaway line about how she made a system that she couldn't beat made me go,
Hmm.
hmm.
Yes. According to the script, she is canon 43.
That is wild. So she's 3 years older than Juno.
Yeah.
We finally have an age for the ageless Rita.
I kind of wish we didn't.
Yeah, like that's the one time I don't want to know. I just want to believe that she could be any age.
I feel like I'm just going to mourn if we ever find her last name.
Oh,
Like,
we can't find her
yeah,
last name.
we don't need that power. Like,
No. Forget the need to be known. That's more like a running gag than anything else, and they can't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Juno says, and I love you.
Oh, and I thought of you. I was like, I wonder what Luna's going to say about this. Like it's just I
Yeah.
wonder if that was if he'd been saying that before to Rita or if that was the first time that he'd done it in a long time.
I don't know, but I'm just really, really proud of him that he's gotten his shit together enough to really appreciate the Rita in his life, who stuck with him
Yes,
through some real bad treatment and
real
is
bad.
now, yeah, and, you know, is finally going well.
Thank
Ugh.
goodness.
Basically, I'm proud of both of them.
Me
Do
too.
you want to quickly talk about the of moment?
The what moment?
The moment where Peter breaks a breaks a plate when he hears best
Oh, an array
an
of
array
yeah.
of.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that was
he's not
sad.
doing good.
No, no fam, he's not doing well.
No, no, no. It's just not going so hot.
No.
Um, Also, Juno has never asked about Peter's past. I feel like that is something you talk about in a relationship.
Yeah, it's a little funny that they set
Yeah.
themselves up to like be having these nightly talks and that in that year they haven't this is just another I will save this for the end, I promise, but just a softball just real quick that this is one of the difficult parts of having, such a short amount of time to convey these bonds and to be away from Juno that whole time, because
Mm-hmm.
in some ways it's really helpful, because then you can maintain this mystery the whole time, because we haven't been in Juno's head the whole time. And you can kind of like
Yeah.
skip that. You don't have to. But the downside is that if you want to have these, there are other aspects that you just kind of have to pretend they haven't touched on, because we weren't there to hear them and we needed to be there to hear them.
Mm-hmm. No, I
So
get that.
yeah, if that makes any sense. It's like in some ways it's really helpful as a storyteller, and in other ways it's like you kind of have to go, oh, whoops.
Well, I also no, I get that. I really I do understand that it seems unrealistic that they wouldn't have talked about it. But I do think there is a scenario where that shows how much Peter is struggling and that they're I don't know. I don't know. You're probably right that it doesn't quite make you're right that it doesn't quite make sense, but
But it's not like
yeah.
that's,
It's not the end of the world to me.
oh no, for me that is like very low on the list of, like, that's a little bit like a huh moment to me, because then suddenly I don't really know what was filling all those nights other than, I guess, sex. Maybe you just I don't
They could
I
have just been fucking.
they could have just been fucking reading poetry. I don't know, and that just would have been the answer. So it's more like a huh moment for me than anything else, because who knows, maybe Peter just, they talked about a bunch of other different stuff that they needed to work through, and like Peter just
Yeah.
hasn't been ready, and that's maybe okay.
That's kind of I'm falling, but
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
yeah.
Um yeah, let's talk quickly. Let's talk about Jet and like the future of the carte blanche.
Oh, yeah. I think you put your vote in that he was going to go on to become captain.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. I think
Yeah.
there are more things that Juno and Peter can learn from Jet.
Yeah.
I think that they would still be growing, but it meant a lot to me. Juno had this moment of like, have I actually changed or are circumstances different?
Yeah. Which is
That meant
very
a lot.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I'm living with my parents for the first time in 6 years and I feel very different, but like, am I actually different or was I just living in a different place?
Yeah.
It it's a lot of fear, you know?
Absolutely. And it helps me in these situations listening to a character go through the same thing, like a character I
Yeah.
love, because then I can be like, what are you talking about, character? Of course you've changed internally. Like, your perception is skewed because you're in it, but from the outside it's obvious, and so it's like then I can say that to the character and I can be like, oh.
Ah, yes. Yes, fiction. Fiction is important. It helps us think through things.
Yes. So yeah, that was a
Um,
lovely note that they did.
it was, and I liked that Jet was vulnerable and asked for help,
Yes.
and that
Oh.
Juno hates that they just do not fundamentally do not understand each other's humor.
It's
I
so
really
funny.
appreciate that.
Oh my god, there's that, and I'm very curious about the there are multitudes of people inside us. That was a very Nureyev thing to say. And I was like, huh, because it made me think about, how Jets struggle with the, previous version of himself and how he came to terms with that in Tools of Rust. And I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just,
And
oh
that when
God.
circumstances change, people do. So
Oh,
this circumstance is drawing to an end, and you're going to be a different person in the place where you end up.
yeah, so it's like both.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very complicated.
I admit when I was first listening, I was like, why are they having the aromantic person write the wedding vows? But then I think it went better. I don't know. I think that it was very respectful of Jet being a romantic in the end.
Yes, it was never like the most important thing in the world is finding true romantic love. It was just like about connections with people and
Yeah.
finding others and like building relationships together and the miracle of that. I agree. That's a great point, Luna. That could have gone kind of in an unfortunate direction. It did not.
Yeah, but it didn't. It didn't. I was just thinking about how like Peter must have been standing there like I'm actually connected with these people. You know, he said 6 people in 6 connections that
Oh.
he is being known.
Oh God. Oh, I should have written down this quote from a book I'm reading. Oh God. It was almost exactly that, like hiding your real self, but watching the people around you slowly piece together who you are just through the things that are the same across all of your aliases. And it's just like so sweet.
It is
Ah,
sweet.
and he played his little
Uh,
heart out for them.
he did.
That
He
was
did, and I'm proud of
beautiful.
him.
Oh man.
You want to talk Buddy?
Yes, that was so interesting to me. I loved the buddies section.
Fascinating.
Yeah, what do you think about the decision to have them have that conversation in a shooting situation?
What do you mean?
Like I don't know, I can't remember how I think I probably phrased that the wrong way. Like what do you think about the fact that Juno and Buddy had that conversation about cold feet and weddings and trust like while having a shooting session? Like I don't know,
Hmm.
I can't figure out it just feels like a really cool choice to me, but I'm not sure
To
how.
me, I mean, I personally have a very hard time opening up to people without having some little distraction. Like if you ask me stuff while I'm driving, I will overshare forever because I'm thinking about something else at the same time and I can't overthink it. Um, so I kind of got those vibes from it, and I think it was also a good reminder of like their commonality. That
Hmm.
while Juno and Vespa have a lot of parallels, like Buddy and Juno both lost an eye, both, found a long lost partner, and both feel guilty about it. And I think that just because Buddy is farther along than Juno is, like it's still there's still parallels, and they're still both needed to learn how to shoot with one eye.
Oh, I love them. That makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense.
but Buddy was kind of intense and mean.
She was really taking it out on Juno.
Yeah. And now that we kind of have a little into Buddy's head, I what she's doing, but I don't think it was very nice.
No, it wasn't. Because Juno was obviously not in a great place to be,
Yeah.
in bed all day the day before. And yeah, just a little bit.
But I thought it was good that Juno kind of snapped back at her, but in like not terrible ways, but clearly recognized that she was goading him and didn't really rise to the bait.
Yeah. I think
Um,
yeah. Like it was a situation where he was holding her accountable and being like, "Are you thinking about actually leaving?" Like genuinely, like,
yeah.
and yeah, was willing to ask those hard questions because I think Jet is also really good at that, at just cutting
Hmm.
straight through the bullshit and just getting to the heart of the matter. And
But
it's really
Juno
cool.
notices more.
Yeah, which is amazing. Yeah, that's true. Buddy pulled the wool over Jet's eyes in the end. She had to tell him, but Juno could immediately be like, "Oh, you're freaking out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's he's really good with people, despite how much he thinks he's not good with people.
Oh,
Oh,
bite
I
me.
really loved that Juno had to think through sharpshooting. Like that's not something we've seen in earlier episodes, even when he had two eyes.
Yeah.
Um, that he had to take a second and think through the steps to the skill. That it wasn't something that just came back and was easy. I thought that that was really cool.
Yeah, it really meshes the themes of this season of working on yourself and how it's a something that is conscious and careful and oh boy, very deliberate.
Yeah. Can I talk about the story box now?
Please talk about the story box. Tell me about the story box.
Ah. So Buddy has a line that's like, "Oh, I can't remember what she says," but then Juno's like, "Ah, story of my life. I'm always running behind or something." And Buddy has this line about figuring about being story we tell ourselves about ourselves isn't out of date, because otherwise we'll be flinching from blows that never come and unprepared for the ones that do. And
Loved that. I
oh my
had to go,
god,
oh. Yeah, I like had to put down my cocoa and just like take a
well
second.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Juno's like, well, what if the story's too complicated? What if we don't know what the story's about anymore? And Buddy says, that's being a person.
Yes,
And
that's the human condition.
the story box. That's the story box. That is Juno saying, I've told myself the story about who I am my whole life and who I should be. And now it's so complicated that that doesn't fit anymore. And Buddy's good.
Oh, Luna.
Ah,
Oh, Luna, that's so good. That makes me so happy.
ah,
What a way to wrap it up. Wow. That really does
yeah.
just put a pin, like, or put a ribbon around the whole wow. I'm like speechless thinking about that. That's really genius.
It's such neat writing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow. Damn.
yeah.
So, do you want to talk I was thinking maybe like Dark Matters predictions and then if you'd be comfortable with it me saying what I didn't like about this episode?
Yeah, of course we can talk about what you didn't like about the episode. Do you want to talk about Diamond real fast since we're on the buddy
Oh
section?
my god, yes, we got to talk about Diamond. We finally got more Diamond info.
She, her pronouns, baby.
Hey, now we finally know.
And that Juno was left. Diamond did that he did not leave Diamond,
Yes,
which is very sad
it is.
because and the idea of like, I wonder if that's why that Juno hate why it freaked Juno out so much that Peter just expected a level of trust right away in season 1,
Yeah.
because he had already done the thing where he just gave someone all his trust no matter whether they earned it or not and got really badly burned.
Yeah, and Peter had already demonstrated. Yeah, I think that there was, and I think they've done a great job of planting hints that that might be the case, that he might have had a
Mm-hmm.
past experience that informed the choice to not trust people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great hearing that and having it make so much sense in relation to Peter and even people like Rita, who have been in his life for
Yeah.
so long, but he still doesn't include in his plans because it doesn't cross his mind to trust them enough to rely on them.
Yeah. And why relying on people is hard. I don't know. I thought that detail worked really well with what we know about Juno. Um, and the idea that Juno isn't keeping himself safe, that he's not keeping this distance that he needs between him and Ransom.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, which I think fits in really well with the later speech about how love is a thing he made and not
yeah,
a thing that happened to him, which is
so
totally
wonderful.
true. Holy crap. Like, you can't get by on good feelings. Like, you need to put in work to make a relationship like that work.
Exactly. Oh, it's so good. And it's so nice knowing that it's mutual. Like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, Peter is really struggling right now to be open, but it's killing him. He is just such
Yeah.
a mess. He wants to, like, be a good partner, but he can't. Oh, God.
Oh, in the journal it said what is my true name instead of what is my real name, which I thought was very trans.
Perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely. Trans Peter Nerea forever. It is,
Always, always, always,
yes.
always. Um uh Peter and Juno text each other completely insufferably, and I kind of hate them for it.
I love it. It's so good.
It's just it's
Oh,
trash. It's
I
terrible.
miss you. You've seen each other like 5 hours ago. They've known you. It's so great. I love it. My sappy little heart loves it.
I know. Well, I love Juno's new things scare me and old things don't speech.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I
That's really so true. Like as a trauma survivor, like there's a lot of things you can just be like, ah, yeah, worse has happened. But then there's new things, good things, where you're just like, this is terrifying. Can't do it. Sorry.
that makes sense. I mean, the old stuff might be bad, but it's familiar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's still moving forward even though he's so freaked out by it. I'm so
It's
glad.
true. It's true. I really love that.
And
Um,
like I really liked how the monologue about like a Peter from Juno started with space. Like it kind of called back to me like this very start of season 1 that opened with Juno having a little talk about space and how
yeah, we
much
finally got the
yeah.
end of that thought.
Yeah,
Man in
yeah.
glass.
Like it started with some commentary about growth and then it ended with this commentary about connection and it's just like it's very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, if season two was growth, season three is connection.
Perfect. Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to do some work on himself and now he has the room to build relationships with other
Yeah.
people.
Which is good. He's still growing. He
Baby.
is. I'm so proud of him. I thought we talked about the vows already. Are you ready to go to Dark Matters time?
Oh, I'm so ready for Dark Matters time.
Oh my God. So Agent G was a red herring, which I love. I love
Great.
that.
Great.
It was
She's
so
just
great. Just
gone.
she's just gone. Sorry, Agent G. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
What is Sasha's game? What is Sasha trying to do?
That's the thing is you got to tell me. What do you think?
Why do I gotta tell you? I don't know.
Well, I
I just
mean, you
like
usually
guessing.
have theories.
I do. I do have theories. I think it all comes down to what the radicals are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we can assume that they're there for the Cure Mother Prime. But I don't know. I feel like it would be a really interesting twist if they were like there for Peter Nureyev
Or the ruby.
or
Yeah.
the movie, and
That would be
that
pretty wild.
well, we know that Dark Matters is like trying to kind of clean up remnants from the war that might still be dangerous. And who knows if Peter Nureyev is still on that wavelength.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who does
Um,
know? It's yeah, I'm very eager to see what they're actually after and whether or not they'll pretend to be after one thing and then to lure if they're after Peter to lure Peter out or this could go in so many different directions and all of them I'm interested in, which is my favorite way to feel going into a finale.
yes. Well, I think going into oh, which episode was it? Yeah, it's not coming to me. But that they said that Dark Matters said, I think in the Rita episode, that everyone was that the Orinkos were in possession of three radicals and about to get a fourth or something like that.
Oh shit. So
So so the fact that there's only one radical aboard, I don't understand. I don't like. Did Peter get rid? Did Peter do the handoff like during while Juno was on his scavenger hunt? Like, what
That would be
happened there? I don't
so
understand.
funny.
It,
If the like if like we've been building up to it the whole season and just off screen he just wanders off and gives away the
yeah,
and the yeah, wow. That would be really wild. But I agree that's so strange. I hadn't realized, but that's totally oh wow. I had totally forgotten about that quote about there being multiple. Oh shit. Yeah, where are they?
yeah. What is happening? I don't quite get it. I do think that Juno's going to be the only one who can get anywhere with the Cure Mother.
Yes.
But I'm also really interested about why Sasha only asked for 5 rooms.
Because it seems to me that Peter is definitely not in the room at that time, right? So they would only need five.
Is that true? I mean, I kind of feel like Kevin would have been more explicit about that.
I don't, you know, maybe, but it seemed like that was my immediate instinct was the second I heard Gino hit the floor and only Rita made a noise, I was like, Peter is not there. And
Hmm.
it just suits his character, I think, for him to be like the split second he hears that noise. I'm not sure when you hear the violin cut off, but I could just picture him just taking the violin. The funny thing is that he would have had to put it somewhere.
Hmm.
And then just like him running for the cure mother or running
Yeah,
somewhere. Yeah.
fucking booking it,
Yeah,
hiding
I
in
could
the
just see
vents
that.
like a 2012 Avengers fanfic.
Yes, which I have been waiting for. I this is all I
Yes.
ever wanted. So I think it's possible to pick out through context clues. If he turns out to have been there, I'll honestly be pretty surprised.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there's also a universe where Sasha just kind of like stashes Juno on the dark matter ship and just does not, just kind of like is trying to keep him safe for nostalgia's sake and not involving him in whatever interrogations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that because if Sasha has the power as director to just shoot such a high-ranking person as Agent G and just
Hmm.
like fabricate this excuse in front of all the other officers, then I'm like, what is she can why would she need any subterfuge? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very curious. I guess she could probably I don't know, but that would be awesome if she took Juno on board. I think that would be actually a really good strategy if she knew that the crew cared about.
Hmm.
I think it might work better if it was someone like Buddy, who they knew was like at the head of the operation.
True.
But yeah,
Taking
but then
someone hostage.
they couldn't run if one of
Hmm.
them was stashed on the other ship.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have no idea where the dark matters interrogation is going.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Oh, you know, I have you know that comic with like the one fear shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, this didn't have a part one on it, so
It did not.
are we gonna be switching perspectives again?
Fuck, I think so, which
No,
bothers me, honestly.
I know we finally made it back to Juno, and now it's gonna be like Sasha, and I'm just like, no, please,
Yeah,
don't leave me.
we've all been waiting for Juno this whole time, and
A year.
he gets 1 episode. One.
Yeah, one, one episode. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
that's
hurt.
yeah. So is that a transition for me to say what I didn't really like about this?
Right.
I just this episode was for me just chock full of tell don't show. It was just it felt like it was supposed to be an episode at the end of a long running season where a character does a tour through all the things that, you know, all the friendships they've made and like remind
Mhm.
the audience like, "Oh yeah, I remember when that happened. That was so great." Except I don't remember when that happened. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember we've got some really good, I think Kabert have been really good about finding these snapshot moments that really encapsulate like an arc. Like they gave
Mhm.
us some really good moments between Juno and Vespa that were like
Mhm.
central to their growth as, maybe not friends, but allies, people who care about each other. But we
Mhm.
still, because of the constraints of time, we simply, and because of the fact that Juno hasn't been our point of view, we didn't see a lot of that friendship, and we didn't see Juno make the, shooting bunker with Buddy, and we didn't see him slowly get to recognize when like Jet's tells for when he was joking. And it's
Yeah.
just kind of, it really, to me, was just like this, it really put a spotlight on what I didn't like about the season, and that the season is about connection, but the connections are so hard to believe because we just haven't had enough time with them, and the
Mhm.
perspective has been ever changing.
Yeah. It feels unearned, is what you're saying.
Yes, at the end, to me, and that is, I totally understand if you and other people don't feel that way. Just personally, it felt like I was supposed to be feeling something, and like why I was feeling the way I was because of fan fiction. Because I'd
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
like, I was looking back and I was like, yes, finally yes, we've earned this. And I'm like, did they? Or are you feeling this way because you have read so many fics where Juno
Mhm.
and Vespa get closer? And like when I look at the canon, I just don't, yeah, I think earned is a good word for it.
Mhm. I definitely see it. I see what you're saying, and I don't know. I mean, I wish we had a longer season with just Juno point of view. It also
Yeah.
really bugs me that in the commentary track, I think it was Kevin called this part of recovery boring.
No, you're kidding me. That's exactly what oh my God, that's so funny. That's exactly what I've always like championed Kabert for, is because media finds this lap of recovery extremely boring, and so they skip out on it. And I was always like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
He did. He did. He said that this part of recovery was kind of just fine tuning and coming into new situations and figuring out what to do. And I can't remember the exact quote, but boring was in there. And I don't think so.
Me neither. I think that is such a strange thing to say when your story is so centralized in recovery. And like, I totally get where he's coming from, or I think I do. I'm not inside his head, but as a storyteller, like I mentioned this in a thing I made a while back, but when you're writing a story and you want that story to be engaging, you need like structure. And structure can be hard in this lap of recovery. That's why creators
Hmm.
are more likely to write about everything leading up to the breakdown and then skip everything afterward, because afterward doesn't have the same highs and lows. It's just the same boring fight every single day, like brushing your teeth. It's like
Hmm.
it's not fun like to do a lot of the time, even like that maintenance. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I get it. I get the instinct to turn away, but it's another situation where it's like this was such a thing that I loved about the show. And I guess when we do our retrospective, I'll talk about it more. But
Hmm.
recovery is, I keep coming back to this, it's so important to the central, central
We've seen
themes.
glimpses of it. I want to be fair. We have
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
bits and pieces, and Juno working really hard to not snap at Vespa, and Juno working really hard to communicate with Peter, and things like that. So like
absolutely.
I do see that trying. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, kudos where they are deserved. I stand by that they are really good at finding those perfect moments
mhm.
that encapsulate like the important moments of that growth. But yeah, so I definitely do give them kudos for that too. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been kind of a fill in the blank season, and filling in these particular blanks made me very happy. if that makes sense. Like, I agree that
Absolutely.
it wasn't totally like narratively earned, but I saw how I could track Juno's progress from point A to point B. So
Yes.
I felt good about it because I saw where it was. I don't know.
No, that makes total sense. You absolutely like they really did like show him struggling. This has never been a situation where it's just like, oh, he's better now. It's
Yeah.
like all better. It's like he's always been struggling and they've shown that. It's just preference wise, I needed more of that to it still felt like they were turning the camera away from Juno because it was boring and that just
Mhm.
didn't sit with me very well. It
Mhm.
still doesn't. Totally get why they did it. But yeah, it's I personally would have wanted more. If this was like some minor thing, I wouldn't care. But really, when I wrote my letter to to Caper, like back in like
Mhm.
a long time ago, that was one of the things that I really hit on was that I loved how much attention they gave to the things that stories usually don't. And I still think they
Yeah.
do that. It's just hearing confirmation that Kevin it's just kind of I mean it's fine. It's just a story. They're allowed to do what they want and I still
Mhm.
love Penumbra. I love it to death. I just think to me that really didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm kind of in a something is better than nothing. And I think for
Absolutely.
what the season what the season has been, I feel like we got the real I don't know. I feel like in a lesser show there's a version of this episode where we don't get those interactions with the crew and we don't get the proof of how Juno has changed. And I even if it might have felt a little unearned or a little bit too little too late, I'm still glad we have it.
Amen. In a lesser show, there is no way they would have mentioned that Juno hadn't gotten out of bed. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's no way that they would have just half of the nuance that's packed into
Hmm.
this episode that we've been talking about for the past however long, like that wouldn't be
Yeah.
there. Yeah, there's
Oh, we've been
still
doing this for a
really
year, Rab.
wow. Wow. And I mean, yeah, it's because it's an amazing show. It's just that I'm yeah, I'm gonna need to for a retrospective, I'll think about it more, but wow. Yeah, a year, good Lord.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about. They give a lot to talk about.
It's true. And I think that there's a lot of lessons that people can bring to their own lives from Juno's and now the struggles of the rest of the crew. And
Yes.
I don't know. I This season has a lot of, best of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, the end of the world.
Absolutely not. It's not like I get scared sometimes that someone like on the periphery of the production crew will like get a hold of one of these episodes.
Hmm.
I know, wouldn't that be horrifying? Because like I don't
Uh,
because I would never in a million years say any of this to like anybody working because I just would like be happy with what I got. But it's just
Absolutely.
yeah, coming from a place of love, like it's just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can love something and acknowledge its flaws. Like that is full
Yeah.
stop. You are allowed to do that.
Yeah. So it's just interesting and there'll be more to talk about, I'm sure, once things wrap up. But the reason why I just felt the need to talk about it was because this episode was so much about looking back on how much things had changed. And I felt like so much of that change had happened off screen. So it's
Mm.
just an interesting thing to me to kind of sit with because it's not something I would
Yeah.
have expected from this show. It's become an extremely different show, as we've already talked about. And so it's just like, that's that's how it is. But that's yeah, different. I guess that's all I had to say. I think I'm through my notes.
Okay. How long do you think the rest of the season's going to be? Because we thought this was going to be the finale, and it's definitely not the finale.
It's interesting that they were so cagey about it on Twitter now. I'm like, what are they thinking?
Yeah.
God, another 2 episodes? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know whose perspectives we'll stick with. Like, I think a Sasha perspective episode would be amazing. Um, but also, like, I get why they wouldn't do that. It would really break the mold
Yeah,
in a season of mold breaking, but still. I would kind of love to see a Nerea perspective, like, for the full finale.
that would be great. I really
So
wouldn't.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
So much of the story has been about him and who trusts him and who doesn't, and what he's doing or not doing.
Yeah, because he's the perfect vessel, like, for this kind of story about connection and trust, because
Hmm.
trust has always been so, so big for Peter's character. Yeah, I think that would really work too if, I, of course, would prefer to have Juno, but if we were going to switch, yeah, put me back in
Yeah,
Peter's head. Let me see this boy's turmoil.
yeah, that's how I feel. Like, if we got to be in somebody else's head, then Peter, please.
Yeah, yeah. That would be the most dramatic if we're looking for something that's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In my mind, the story has picked up a lot and gotten a lot better in the buddy episodes and in this episode.
Big mood. I totally agree.
Kind of like Man in Glass was incredible, and I think maybe, I don't know if quality is the right word or what we wanted out of it, or I don't know what, but it just didn't quite match up until we got to the buddy episode, and then through to this Juno episode.
Yes. Yeah, it was like it really was disconnected vignette kind of
Hmm.
style. And then starting with this latest, and then with Buddy with Buddy's episode, like bam, we're back in like plot. We've got a like our we've got the MacGuffin of the whole season right there, and it's everything's
Hmm.
moving and culminating, and you can feel them winding up for the punch of whatever the hell happens with Nureyev. And so I think there was momentum there. And the season has
Yeah.
been so spread out across the past year and 2 months or so that,
Hmm.
of course, that would start to drag after a while. So I can see why this would start to kind of feel like a boost of adrenaline.
Yeah. Shit is
Yeah,
happening.
it's happening. It is going to happen whether we like it or not.
That is true. That is accurate. Um, yeah, so those are all my notes, but I think this episode was really rich and dense, and gave especially fic writers a lot to chew on.
Oh yeah, I'm
And
very excited.
and also, like, dark matters. We're gonna get more dark matters, and now I want to, like, re-listen to everything that is Sasha related.
Yes. Oh God, that's going to be heavy.
Yeah, seriously. Like, what is she doing? What is her
Yeah.
plan?
Oh man,
Oh,
very excited to
Sasha.
figure that out. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
boy.
Sasha.
Well, Penumbuddies, if you want, comment down below with what you think's going to happen next.
Yes. What is Sasha gonna do? You could let us know.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Penumbuddies. We will talk to you later.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.